I felt like he was so worried about the takedown where he was like, there was a good 5 minutes where he barely threw anything and then the takedown would come anyway. I just knew that the opportunities for him to fight his shots would be gone.
Your last fight against Diego Lopez, on the lead up to the fight, and you were like, you guys have every right to doubt me.
Every fighter's still going to have little doubts that are going to creep in. But even I was like, are you the exact same guy you were 4 or 5 years ago? You know, like, probably not.
What are your thoughts there with Jon and Tom?
If you're the champion, defend your belt. You know, it's a responsibility. You know, I know your resume is incredible. What you've done is incredible. You know, you're considered the greatest of all time. Yeah, we get that. So if you don't want to fight, just retire. You're done.
Maybe people are writing off Charles Oliveira. How do you think those two match up?
I don't think Charles Oliveira is going to be on the back foot at all. You know, that's something that'll be different for Ilia. I don't think he's ever had someone be like, nah, jam forward as well. Maybe if Ilia's on the back foot.
Oh my gosh, we're back again, baby. Overdogs podcast here on the flip side. You can catch us. Prayers go out to Ben Askren. Another post I saw just before coming on here that he's unresponsive. I know his wife and his family is really hoping he pulls through this, as are we. You know, that's all I can say about that, man. I hope Ben Askren pulls through. Yo, shout out to the Crypto Fighting Championships. Eric Valley, Josh's girlfriend, is fighting in Thailand. I thought he was going to be fighting a malnourished human being, but the guy looks kind of big. Eric said that he was and he's going to him up and knock him out. So I think Eric's like 7-0. I don't know how many of those are knockouts, but he's got a few knockouts. So he's been doing his thing.
I mean, imagine showing up malnourished to a fight with Eric. Eric's got to be like 280 pounds, roughly.
Yeah, he's a big dude.
He's not that big, but he does eat. He was posting that he was eating McDonald's right after weighing in or something.
Makes sense.
Or maybe before weigh-ins, he was eating. It's like Chinese McDonald's, though. Apparently, it's much better than American McDonald's.
Yeah.
Good chicken and stuff like that. Man, we got some plugs, man. DBX 2 coming this weekend, Saturday, June 14th in Miami yet again. It's going to be an incredible night, an incredible event. We're going to party. We're going to celebrate. We're going to have a good time. I'm going to talk about those fights, and there's a few that I really can't wait to see. Ice Bag's coming down. He'll be sitting in the back of the general admission. He couldn't afford his owner's table anymore. And
look, man, it goes south a little bit. I still show up, though.
No, we got to cut that, man. Cut that. No.
I still show up. You know what I mean? GA's fine.
Yeah, you can feel the animosity of, like, I was just watching a video of Kamaru Usman's coach out there in Colorado, Trevor Whitman, and he was saying how, you know, these fighters are good men, great men, they're fathers and they're, you know, businessmen, this and that, but then their alter ego, the other person you see comes out on fight week, their fuse gets a little shorter, they get a little angrier. Kamaru Usman has to become the Nigerian nightmare through all his training. He's a great guy, but he gets real mean on fight week because Trevor Whitman said you have to be an asshole to be a great fighter. You have to be able to go in there and do violent things and do damage. And
I think you have to be an asshole to, like, be successful at pretty much anything, to be honest.
Otherwise, people will take advantage of you.
100%. Yeah. I've had it done to me plenty of times. Like, you have to be in asshole mode in certain moments, and then you have to be in, like, normal mode in certain moments. I mean, you can't, you know this, Mike. Like, Platinum Mike Perry is not Mike Perry on a day-to-day basis, right? When Platinum comes out, don't Platinum. But Mike loves his kids and takes pictures of the fans and everything else, right? But when Platinum comes out, don't with Platinum.
I've come a long way in the fight game where I don't know. It's always been very confusing where I'm like, how do I respond to this by being a good person? And because like I live a happy life. I get to work out. I get to go train. Sometimes that shit is like, ugh, I'm so tired of doing it. But I continue. You have to work out in life anyways to be healthy. And then like people say rude things, but a lot of people show you a lot of love, and especially to your face. The rude people don't really come. Like 9 out of 10 times, they're not rude. They're nice. So one guy said something to me the other day. He goes, I met him at this combat night in Orlando, and the guy goes, "Oh man, your nose looks really good." I was like, "Do you want me to fix yours right now?" Like what? He's like, "Oh, he's like a big, strong guy." You know, I think he's the type of guy that comments some derogatory shit online, but
I don't think anybody over 6 foot comments anything derogatory online. To be honest, I think it's just sorry, Carl. It's the little guys that do it, right? Sorry, Carl would kick my ass right now if we got into it. So, but what I was gonna say is, you know who like doesn't break out of character and it's so surprising is Merab. Merab will climb 3 stories into the stands because some guy said something fucking to him.
They'll like trade a couple shots, then he'll drop back down to the ground, turn around, and just keep walking out like nothing just happened. Like you saw obviously the video, the dude fall on him walking out. Dude, the week after we have the main event canceled, as they're walking out, what if that happened again, dude? Because that dude fell on Rob. But shit, you're right, Bags.
But I feel like that was a little sidestep for Merab because you don't see that out of Merab.
No, sometimes, you do. That's what I'm saying. Is like on a regular basis, Merab is like with people in the stands. Dude, he's gone into the stands at this point like 3 times. You know what I mean? Like, and Merab is not the guy you would think of to be going into the stands. The guy's smashing O'Malley, kissing him on the head, walking around with his jacket, and then he goes into the stands to fight 6 guys.
Yeah. And then sits back in his seat, doesn't get kicked out because it's like, it wasn't him. It wasn't him. Like, he's chill. He sits down. He's not like, no, f this, I got to leave. He's just like, all right, back to the fights. Like, dude, that guy, what the hell?
Merab's incredible, man.
Let's talk about that card. Bro, Merab dominated.
Holy.
Who can, all right, who's next for Merab, I guess?
The guy coming on the podcast next.
Yeah.
Or who's the Brazilian dude? But that's 145, isn't it?
Yeah, Diego.
I mean, hey, look, Umar, what Javier Mendez told us, Umar's the best guy I've ever coached, right? Better than Khabib, better than Islam, more talented. And to me, Merab put it on Umar. So give Umar a year and a half maybe, like to polish himself. But at this point, I just don't see how anybody goes in there and competes with Merab. He embarrassed O'Malley this time. And O'Malley was like, I'm not drinking, I'm not smoking, I'm not gooning, I'm not doing any of this shit. Like, I'm so serious. And went in there and got his ass kicked.
Yeah, I've seen some videos about that saying his old game plan was better.
I agree. I said, bro, you should have been gooning, making funny videos. Like, you might as well have.
Takes you a little bit out of your mental space of what you normally are. You got to have fun in there. Or if you're too uptight and tense, it's not going to look good.
And I want to talk to Volk about this too. Anyway, Volkanovski's our guest today. But you've talked about this before because you were like, before the, what was his last fight? Diego Lopez. You were like, maybe Volk needs to be a little more serious before this fight, right? Because he does the jokes and the shit. He comes in as the old man or whatever. But then Volk did the same and goofed off and came out and whipped Diego Lopez's ass. And maybe you're right. Maybe it is like a headspace thing where it's like, I don't have to be as stressed about it if I goof off just a little bit.
Just a little bit, not too much.
Not too much.
There's a line, the balance. You got it's crazy. It's hard balance, man.
I think
I was gonna say, Kevin Holland got the win over.
Ooh, he looked good, bro.
I like the stuff he was saying until he said one thing. He was like, keep me away from them young guys. Because Michael Morales looks too tough for him or whatever. I was like, why would you even say that? Because Kevin Holland's dangerous. He pulled a submission out. Like, he came out with this submission on Luque. Luque must have just done all striking. Gets on the ground, gets his neck took.
Kevin's just like one of those fighters, man. He either looks like a world beater, he looks meh. And he came out there. I think him staying at 170 is great. That's the move to make. He looks way better there, focusing at 170, using his range. He was piecing him up like that first. I think he got him with like a Vicente tried to get him with a single leg at the beginning, and that's when Kevin was hitting with all kinds of shit. It's like slaps, punches, elbows. He got him in the back of the head, not with an elbow. It was clean. It was clean. It was just right there. But it made me worried because Vicente obviously told about the brain bleed on this show. You know, that was a big one. He got a hematoba right there immediately. But then, yeah, dude, Kevin just really controlled that, snatched his neck like nothing. That was really impressive by Kevin.
Big fights this weekend too. Luque versus, or not Luque,
Usman.
sorry.
Usman Buckley.
Usman versus Joaquin.
Mm-hmm.
That's a good one this weekend. And Holland had a good call out, calling out Colby. I thought that was good. That could be a good build up. Has Colby had anything to say about that?
Who cares?
Not a response out of him, boy.
Who cares?
Oh, his dude, they got to change his name from Chaos Colby to Quiet Ass Colby. Sorry ass.
I mean, how much do you get to talk if you haven't won in 6 fights?
I invited some guy who did time in prison. He's been shouting out saying that UFC fighters are this and that. And like I wanted to say, he's not exactly wrong. But like everyone gets on his case. His name is Wes Watson. And he like, I think he was talking about Kevin or something. And yeah, Kevin Holland. And, you know, Kevin is probably not in the percentage of people that he's talking about. But some pro fighters, you know, they're kind of pushovers. Like you can do shit to them and they're going to be like, no, I can't. I'm a lethal weapon. I'm a registered this or that or whatever. So,
but you've seen this dude, right? Like he got in a fight at his own
he
gym.
got a Bugatti. I know that. I told him pull up DBX, man. We got VIP tickets for you. We got security out the yin yang, boy. You'll be fine, bro. Don't you worry about it. Wes Watson, come on out to Dirty Boxing this weekend. Going to be some great fights and a lot of knuckleheads out there. But you'll have security. And you can park your Bugatti right in the front, man. I always wanted to see one. I don't think I've seen a Bugatti before. Yeah, my neighbor might have one, though. I swear he be changing his cars on the lift.
He got some hedges, too, bro.
Yeah, baby. We got nice hedges in my neighborhood, baby. Oh,
so anyway,
man.
So the backstory on that one is Mike sends us a picture one day, and it's like, I don't even see the garage in the front. So it's the garage in the back, but it's these hedges, bro, and they are perfectly trimmed. And I'm like, bro, them is fire. He's like, what are you talking about? He's like, I'm talking about the garage in the back. And I was like, I was talking about the hedges, man. It's good.
Dude, like some Minecraft hedges, just like perfect blocks or
perfect.
what?
Perfect.
Nice. Rich people things, for real. You wouldn't even realize.
Shout out Philly Fresh is fighting this weekend, UFC Atlanta. You know, we'll be busy at Dirty Boxing in Miami having a good time, but you know, I might post my phone up ringside just to watch that one a little bit. Philly's a good bro of mine, and he's looking very sharp. So I want to see a big win out of him. Excited to see Alex and Spartan versus the Wolf. They've been talking so much trash. They're finally gonna go head to head in the ring this weekend.
All right, Mike. I think we had $100 on that one.
Yeah.
Yep. You got Alex. I got Wolf. Make that public.
Yeah.
Make sure I get paid.
We can up it.
We can up it. What you thinking?
All right. But I feel bad for the Wolf too, though.
Just throw a number.
All right, 1,000 on the Spartan.
All right, done.
All right, done. Yes.
How about Kayla Harrison?
Somebody else wants me to commentate for them.
Who's that?
Fight Circus.
No.
BKFC.
Ding, 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 ding.
Ding, 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 ding.
I think that we tried that once, and then Julian Lane made a more viral moment by throwing cards at me, and then I made a more viral moment by throwing some punches at him. So if that happens again, make sure to like and subscribe to the channel. The Overdogs Podcast. There he is. Look at that. Champ's in the building. The greatest of all time. Alexander Volkanovski.
How are we?
What's up, champ? How are you?
I'm good. I'm good. You want me to have it upright? Or you want me to have a landscape? How do you want it?
You're good now.
And earlier we were talking about Merab versus Sean O'Malley 2. And Sean O'Malley made it a point to tell everybody that he wasn't doing, he was really focused and he seemed really focused. And I've seen videos about, maybe that wasn't the right thing for him to do. Maybe he was too tense and too stiff after all that, quitting what he's normally done his whole time in his career. What do you think about that for mental mindset going into a fight like that for you to change everything you've always done?
It's a tricky one. Obviously, it depends on the fighter, to be honest. Like, I think it's a good thing when you go there and fully invest and fully commit to a camp. I think that can be very beneficial. But I mean, look, to be honest, I felt like he was too worried about the takedown. I actually was saying in the lead up to the fight, I was thinking, why I think he'll be more dangerous this time is, he'll try to make sure he's not as hesitant on the feet, because when he's on the feet, he's going to need to capitalize. He doesn't want to lose opportunities that are there. And I felt like he was so worried about the takedown, where he was like, so worried about moving. Like, there was a good 5 minutes where he barely threw anything, and then the takedown would come anyway. So that's why I thought, I thought he'd just be a little bit more, look, I'll worry about the takedown when it comes. I'm going to focus on my hands. This is where I'm most dangerous. I'm going to fight my fight. I'm going to capitalize on being on the feet and find the opportunities. If he wants to shoot, I'm a scramble and, either stop the takedowns or get myself back to the feet, because when I am standing, I'm going to, do my work, do what I do best. So that's what I thought he would do. But then straight away, I seen him like on his bike the whole time. And I just knew that the opportunities for him to find his shots would be gone. And then I knew he would eventually get taken down anyway. And I'm like thinking, it's just, that's how I looked at it. A good example of it would be Jack Della. Jack Della was incredible, against Belal, where he obviously is going to train for the takedowns and that, but he's still going to, he's good boxing pressure. I'm going to come forward and I'm going to find my shots. When you shoot, I'll worry about that when you shoot, because I want to capitalize on being on the feet. I just thought that would have been his best chance. But I just felt like he was very hesitant, and Merab was on fire.
What's crazy about that, right, is like Belal actually looked better on his feet, way better than Sean did, if you're comparing those two fights.
Yeah. Well, yeah, I think Belal, I guess he wanted to, like, he sort of wanted to stay on his feet. I don't think he was like, I'm going to stay on the feet the whole time. I think he had it that, I might be able to see how I go standing. But then when he would go for the shots weren't there. And then, he probably found Jack that little bit too slippery and that takedown defense too much. So he's like, I'm going to have to keep, working on the feet. Because in the first round, you seen him, he didn't look like he was shooting too much. But then he started to try and shoot, and they just weren't there. But, Belal looked great. I thought, he fought a great fight. But, yeah, Jack was just on fire that night.
I want to come back to that, talking about Jack Della, but I want to rewind a little bit and talk about your last fight against Diego Lopez. And this thing has stuck in my head that you said on the lead up to the fight, and you were like, you guys have every right to doubt me in some ways, based on some maybe past fights or how things have gone a little bit. But, and you weren't upset about any of it at all. You were just very focused on what you had to do against Diego, and you went in there and put on a hell of a fight. I was there actually live. Was a great show in Miami. And can you talk to us about, how you got that win over Diego and what that fight build up and everything meant?
Yeah, man. Yeah, it was a big camp, long camp. I had a big break, so I was like, I wanted to have a long camp so I could. That first chunk would be like getting my base back, bring that weight down, so I could get through camp feeling sharp, and I didn't want to be heavy all the way till the end of camp. So it was a very long camp. But yeah, you're right. I've always you listen to all my fights, lead ups and all that. I'm always talking about, being the underdog and people doubting me. I guess I've always looked for things like that because I feel like I shine best when, people are doubting me or I'm being the underdog. You know what I mean? It just makes, I don't know, it's just something that I've always sort of looked for. So this time though, I didn't have to look for it. Like, I'm coming off a big break. I'm coming off 2 KO losses. I am getting older. Everyone my age, no one's won the belt at my age in our divisions. It's like, all right, like, yeah, that's fair. So for once in like my career, I was like, yeah, like you guys, I didn't even have to, I didn't have no, like I didn't have what was that, sorry?
Searching. You didn't have to search.
Yeah, I didn't have to search for it. I didn't have a chip on my shoulder about it. It was just like, yeah, all right. Like even I was like, yeah, are you the exact same guy you were 4 or 5 years ago? Like probably not. So, but does that mean I can't work hard to get myself to a position where I can still be the best in the world? There's no way. I know I can. And I'm going to show that, and that's just how I looked at it. You know what I mean? And so it was great. For even I was like, all right, yeah, I am against all the odds here. You know what I mean? So it's just going to make the win even bigger. So that's how I looked at it, and it was comfortable for me. Like it was like no pressure. Again, I didn't have to search. I just had to be like, all right, you got no choice but to work your butt off and make it happen because you are up against it. Young, hungry, dangerous guy like Diego, who ended up being tougher than I fought in there. Like, his chin, like he ate some big shots. I thought he would slow down. That just made him come back even harder. You know what I mean? So it was a fun fight. Everyone loved it, and I guess it was good for me to even cop a bit of punches because there was even questions in my own head. Was like, are you going to be able to take the same punches that you used to? So to go out there and him land shots and me still survive and get through it was good for me to feel because it was again a lot of questions. I didn't have to worry about the people doubting because I even had my own little doubts, knowing that I'm just not the same guy in my position, but I can work around it, and I did.
Hang on 1 second. I love this so much that you're so candid about that because most people wouldn't be, right? Like you took Islam last second. Probably shouldn't have in hindsight, but you did. It was like, fuck, you're going for the double belt. Like, why not, right? You have to. Second is Ilia right after that. And then you go right back in and fight Diego, who's a beast. And the fact that you're willing to be like, yeah, I had my own doubts in my mind about my chin and whatever, is super, super respectable from my part.
It's why I'm careful asking this, but like, do you remember the specific like shot or moment where you're like, dude, I'm good. I got this. Because that picture of you two trading shots, I mean, I just screenshotted that shit, like 30,000 likes. I said, hang it in the Louvre. Like it was beautiful, dude. At what point did you realize, oh, I'm good to go?
I don't think in the whole fight I was ever, without getting too deep into it, it wasn't until after the fight where I'm like, all right, I should take, a lot out of this and realize that, you can take the shots. In there was a little bit different. There was not only adversities you got to get through the whole camp lead up and obviously the losses before and things like that. Even through the fight, being hurt and, in there, battling, like, trying to make sure, like, I'm usually very, very composed in there. I was maybe a little bit like, all right, I had to settle myself down quite a bit in there. So I was too worried about all that sort of stuff to really get to that point, I guess. It wasn't until after the fight. So it was more just settling myself down and, stick to the game plan, watch out for this, watch out for that. But, still fight your fight. Don't sit there and, obviously you don't want to cower. You don't want to run, but at the same time, keep working the takedown. So obviously me turning outside his jab was a big part of that game plan, which we thought would work, and it did work. He wasn't able to make the adjustment, so we just were able to just keep doing that.
Amazing.
Because of the names you mentioned, that's why I wanted to rewind and then go back, because Islam Makhachev is going to be fighting Jack Della Maddalena. How do you think those two match up? And a second part, maybe people are writing off Charles Oliveira, but if Ilia does win that fight and he's chasing after Islam, how do you think a fight between them goes?
Yeah, so with Islam and Jack, I think Jack's fight against Belal was a perfect fight for leading into that. Just purely, you take a lot out of stop and takedowns, because again, there's every fighter's still going to have little doubts that are going to creep in. You know what I mean? They're going to be like, even though you can watch that, don't worry about it, and then your confidence will come back. There's always going to be questions that are going to be there. And even, I'm sure Jack was going through that, being like, all right, like, worried about, what if he takes me down and all that. But the fact that he was able to stop it and feel so comfortable, I guarantee you he's leveled up again. His confidence in his takedowns has just went up significantly. And then through training with that confidence, trust me, I knew, because I've always been hard to take down, but I went from that Islam camp and from that Islam fight, in my confidence, knowing that I'm going to get up. Like, it's just, you're comfortable. You don't panic. It's sort of easy. Like, even when people are trying to take me down, I almost feel like I'm not even trying to stop it. That's how, confident I am, and I can stop it. And if I get down, like, it's just very clear to me what I need to do in them scrambles because of the confidence. I don't know if that makes sense. But I believe that what would have helped Jack leading into this fight, I think his confidence is going to be at a whole nother level. So through camp, like, I guarantee you, if he's back in training right now, people trying to take him down are going to find it almost impossible. Only the top guys are going to have a chance of taking him down, and they're going to have a very hard time even holding him down. So I think that's going to be a beautiful pre-fight for Islam. I think Islam's going to be a little bit better with the training, the wrestling, than Belal, and the holding, top position and stuff like that. But I think that was a perfect fight to lead in, because Belal is no joke there as well. So, I'm really interested to see how that fight goes. I think, Jack Della's, I didn't realize, because I trained with him, but then you see him up against a lot of the other. I'm used to training with some bigger guys as well. But you realize how solid he is. He's just dense. Jack Della is just he's not the tallest, but he's just dense, thick everywhere. So, Islam, he's going to be a decent size even for welterweight, but he might notice a bit of a difference in size there, especially with the pressure that Jack will bring. That weight behind his pressure, when you're coming forward and all that, it's just hard to get that person on the back foot, because, Jack, you won't do it, especially with his size and his confidence in his pressure. So I think it'll be interesting to see how that goes. But with Ilia and Charles, Ilia has a chance to knock anyone out. He's got solid hands and very, very dangerous. And he's he's got a very good focus. So even when things aren't going his way, he's still, he's got like this tunnel vision of, I'm going to find this shot. And that's dangerous when you've got a guy like you. You're like jabbing him up, jabbing, he's missing shots. Some people usually start to like, I better watch out. I better not throw shots until I know they're there. Start second guessing themselves. I don't know if I've seen that in Ilia. So when you've got someone that's that stoic through that process, he could definitely find that shot. And if he does, he could put anyone even in the lightweight division out. But again, he's going to find tough guys. I don't think Charles Oliveira is going to be on the back foot at all. I think he's going to, that's something that'll be different for Ilia. I don't think he's ever had someone be like, jam forward as well, if that makes sense. So we'll see how Ilia goes if he's on the back foot. I think I've seen him a couple of times where he had to go on the back foot a little bit. He just doesn't have the same shots, have his same strikes, or, his game plan to find the shots just changes a little bit. And I think it throws him off a little bit. So I think earlier on, seeing that adjustment will be interesting, because I think Charles is going to come with, even though he's high, there would be opportunities for Ilia to land. But I feel like maybe if Ilia's on the back foot, let's see how he goes there. That's going to be interesting.
Paddy Pimblett said something interesting just earlier. He said that he believes one of the reasons Ilia went up to lightweight was because he doesn't want to have a rematch with you. What do you think about that? Let me find the exact quote so I don't.
Yeah.
I had it pulled up. He
I
said,
think I might have seen something like that.
one of the reasons why he moved to lightweight because he didn't want to have the rematch with Volk. That's what Patty said. What do you think about that?
Look, he's been talking about going up and fighting for the lightweight, for a while. He could see even, I don't think that's the case. I think he just wants that champ. I don't know how many fights he wants in his career. I think I've even heard him talking about only having a few fights. He wants champ, and then by the time he's a certain age, he's done. So, for him, I don't think the numbers of fights is a big thing for him. I think he's just got, look, I want this, I want that, I want this, and I'm out, which is surprising. Maybe he's got a lot of money outside of fighting, or he's built a lot of stuff outside of fighting right now, and that's so he's like, I don't need to fight, because you're never going to make the money you're making fighting, not like that as well. Like when you're making, you just go in the octagon, you fight, and you get big chunk of money straight to you all at once. You know what I mean? It's sometimes it's hard to look past. You know what I mean? So, but for him, he wants to look past. Maybe he's just, he's set. He's got what he wants, set, and that's just what he's going to stick to. So I don't think he's running or anything like that. I'm not going to say that at all. Obviously, I did want that. It's a fight that I will want. If it's there, but I can't see that happening anytime soon, because I know he's he's got his eyes on the lightweight division and doing that sort of stuff. Obviously, he does want Islam, so yeah, for him I don't find that the case.
You're not going to pull out the rubber duck like Tom.
No. I won't. Well, I mean, it's a bit hard when he's already got the win over me. You know what I mean? Like maybe when I got the win back, then I could maybe say that if it was for a third one. But I mean, I'm in a position where it's like, all right, I need to prove myself. So, but yeah, like I said, that's just how it is. He wanted to move up. I get it. He even vacated the belt just so he could move up. So it shows how committed he is to, getting that lightweight title.
I thought that was respectable, because honestly, he gets a lot of hate just because of his attitude. But he did. He immediately vacated the belt and said, I'm going up to 155. Right? Which nobody really does. So I guess leading back to that is, what are your thoughts on like Tom and Jon? I mean, everybody's got thoughts. I think everybody's kind of tired of it. But what are your thoughts there with Jon and Tom? Because you've chased the belt, you've held the belt. You could be in the same position if you wanted to.
Yeah, man. It's obviously, I've always been, if you're the champion, defend your belt. It's a responsibility. You can't just, I'm going to sit out. I think you need to be reasonably active. I think you need to fight whoever's there. If you've got an interim champ, it's a no-brainer. You know what I mean? So I don't want to throw heaps of shade, but I mean, look, I know he's proved himself. Everyone's like, oh, look what he's done. It's fine. It's like, yeah, no, not really. Don't hold up divisions just because, I know your resume is incredible. What you've done is incredible. You're considered the greatest of all time. Yeah, we get that. So if you don't want to fight, just retire. You're done. Or if you want big fights, you're going to have to vacate the title. Like it's a responsibility. That's how I've always looked at being the champ. It's a responsibility. I would like even a bigger break, or have no pressure of wanting to fight or anything like that. But I mean, it's a responsibility. I want to be active. I want to make sure, obviously make that money as well. But I mean, at the same time, I want to sort out the contenders and do your thing. So it's that's just how I look at it. I don't want to throw shade at him. He's done great things, but I don't see how. I don't know if I want to fight him when you're the champ. I don't think you have a choice when you've got an interim champ just standing there waiting for how long.
I can't lie, Volk. I've been saying that I wanted to tell you this ever since I watched you win against Diego. And it was remarkable because you had some big ups and some hard downs in this sport. And then you won the title again. And I've been wanting to say, just leave. Because you are on top, man. You did it. You went away. You came back. You did it again. And you could everyone wants a cookbook. I don't know if you have an e-cookbook or what, but everyone wants your cooking, and you could just grill out in Australia and enjoy right off into the sunset, brother. You did it.
Yeah, man. Look, I'm hearing you. And it's, I'll be lying to myself if I say I'm going to fight for another 10 years. I mean, like it's obviously we know that it's not too far away. But I mean, for me, it's like I'm set. Like it's not like I need to. I'm in a great position, and I'm blessed to be in this position. But at the same time, as I said earlier, like you know what I mean. Like there ain't. I still know I got some fight left in me. And then the fact that I won't capitalize on that, you know what I mean? Like, if I start to, have, if I start to see things, obviously you got to look after the head, the brain and all that type of stuff. If you start seeing some things significantly changing, or not even slightly changing, you're probably all right. Let's not, let's make sure we could look after our kids and, string some words together. You know what I mean? So I'm obviously going to be wary of that. But at the same time, I'm in a position where I can still make some good money and I still feel like I can be at the top. So that's why I'm going to take it each fight as it goes. But look, you're not wrong. I could do a lot of things. I'm very lucky that even the sponsors and a lot of the stuff we have outside. I love even the acting side of things. The skits that we do. It's always fun. I enjoy it. The cooking stuff, I enjoy it. I get to travel and do some cool stuff. Plenty of opportunities there, so I can go that route. But I just know that that's always there. But I mean, I reckon as I said, I'll take each fight as it goes. But I know I've still got some fight left in me.
Hey, I say that out of the love, brother. I say it out of the love. I want to fight and earn my ride off into the sunset moment as well. So
Like, you can do the same thing, bro, but you don't.
no, because I need to fight though. He's on top right now. I need to
Yo,
go.
you're on top.
I need to go out as a winner. Jake Paul beat me up. I need to run something back.
And BKFC, you're like 5-0. You're on top. You beat everybody. Retire.
No,
You're
I
not
need
going to.
my last fight needs to be the win, and then I'll go. So whoever I beat up next, maybe I'll just ride off, boy.
All right. So, Volk, we had some questions from Twitter. I'll pop out real quick. Home of
Yep.
Fight first said, name an opponent you would never invite for cooking with Volk.
An opponent I'd never invite for cooking with Volk. Colby Covington. Straight up. Never.
Yeah, I said they got to change his name from Chaos to Quiet Ass because Kevin Holland just called him out.
Oh, he did he?
Yeah, he did. He ain't say nothing either.
Man, like it's crazy. Now you just seen him going running around just UFC events now, and then obviously picks his times because he doesn't like proper confrontation unless people in between him and stuff like that. But you could just see him running amok and then started just calling people out. Just now he's like in the I'm just going to talk trash without.
He's like on Twitch things.
Yeah, without actually having to fight. I'll just stir the pot and all that sort of stuff. So I mean, at least he's sticking to his his.
That's probably who gave Wes Watson his opinion on professional fighters being softies.
Well, who was that? Sorry.
This Wes Watson guy, I don't know. He's got a Bugatti, and he was talking to Kevin Holland, and he's rich, and he talks about how he went to prison, and fighters are a bunch of pro fighters, or people are scared to talk to pro fighters because they're or whatever. And I said, as far as some of them goes, he's not exactly wrong. Kobe.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Oh, yeah. That's...
He could be one. I'm talking shit today too. Kobe, he ain't gonna do nothing. DBX next weekend. DBX this weekend, Saturday, June 14th, is Dirty Boxing Championships. Volk, we want to show you a little bit about Dirty Boxing. I don't know if you've seen any of it, but we have a big event, DBX2, this Saturday in Miami. It's going to be an incredible show. We got some really violent fighters on there, and it's a totally new sport in our own lane. It's boxing with Superman punches, spinning back fists, and elbows. Ground and pound to knock down opponents, or the boxing continues.
I've seen a few of the highlights from it as well.
Good, yeah. if we could show you some here, we got our producers
bring it up.
put a little video for it.
Oh.
Love you, well. Ooh, Johnny Bones was so interested in what Pat Bet David was saying to him right there. I wonder what they
Mate,
were
that was
talking
a
about.
nice highlight, that one as well. That one, even the music got me going as well.
Yeah.
That was cool. Yeah, no, I have seen a bit of that. So I remember because when I was watching it, and it was like, I could see that there was a crowd there, but I mean, it must have been the lighting and all that. It looked like you were it felt like it was in a shed. I was like, was there a crowd? Or was like some of the angles.
A bit bigger than a shed, mate. It was a warehouse.
It's a plane shed. It's a shed for a plane. It's a hangar.
It was the hangar. It's the hangar.
Yeah, but I mean, I'm just saying the way the lighting was, it looked like it was like no one there. It was cool. It felt like, that's what I'm saying. It just felt like you were, all right, these guys are just locked in here and they got to go for it. No one there and they just got to, but then, yeah, obviously got the crowds. But I don't know, the lighting showed, it was hard to explain. It made it look, I mean it in a really good way. Like it made it look really cool.
Of course. It is a very, we have a great team involved and they dress the show up nicely. It's very classy and violent. It's very nice.
Everyone loves a bit of violence, right? So that's
Don't
good.
we all? Yeah. It will be free on YouTube for those who can't make it out of Australia this weekend to come watch. So it will be free on YouTube. Please go to Dirty Boxing Championships YouTube channel and it'll be right there. Or I think we're streaming. We'll be on X, Facebook. I called it X. It's not Twitter. I like to say X and Twitter. It's the same thing. And Kick, maybe. I think it'll be on Kick as well. So wherever you want to watch the stream, it's there.
I'll be watching. I'll be watching for sure.
Thank you.
My man. I'm going to switch gears a little bit because there's a different question here. It says, I have 4 daughters myself. In a world that often celebrates success in terms of wins and titles, how do you define success as a husband and father? And what do you hope your daughters remember most about you?
Yeah, man, I reckon that's the hardest job in the world. You know what I mean? Like, especially, if you care, because you always feel like I feel like I'm doing the right thing, and then the next week I feel like, oh, maybe I should have done something different. You know what I mean? You always, because I'm the type of guy, I hold myself accountable. You know what I mean? I feel guilty if I feel like I've done something wrong, and so so it's hard. I don't think. I just hope they understand. Even if I didn't get things exactly right, that I tried. I tried my best. I care and I tried my best. You know what I mean? Like when dads are saying no and being for them feeling like I'm being mean, I'm doing it for a purpose, not because I just want to be mean. You know what I mean? I'm doing it out of their safety or something like that. I just hope they get that later. Like I might be sort of hard on them, but that's because I want to mold them into kids that are adults that are going to be ready for the world, right? So and I don't feel like I'm doing it right every single time. So it is tough, but at the same time, at least I know I'm trying, and I'll get better as we go.
How old are yours, by the way? Because I've got 16, 14 girls, and then an 11 boy.
Okay, so I've got 9, so all girls, so 9, 7, and 21 months. And so almost 2, you would say, and then we've got 1 obviously coming, so another girl coming.
Bro, I swear they're driving before you know it. It's insane.
Like on your way there?
Oh, it's insane.
Yeah.
I love my daughter. I love my son, but I'm hard on my son. My daughter is just so fun. She's just so beautiful and bright and like the light of everything. And then I tell my son to stop, like, go. I got to be extra tough on him, I guess. I feel bad for him sometimes. But my daughter, she's just such a little angel. So good for you. You got 3 daughters and one on the way. Wow, that's tough.
I appreciate it. Yeah, 4 girls it's going to be. So it's it's crazy.
Hang on. Are you going to keep going for the boy? Are you
Nah,
good?
I'm done. I thought I was done
Right?
a long time ago, but yeah, we just kept going. But I'm definitely done, mate. I'll tell you what. Do you with when they?
Oh, we lost it. Oh,
Can you hear me now?
yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. So when they, you go and get the snip, sorry, and I'm just like, I don't know if that ends up messing with you. I'm still fighting, so I'm like, I don't know, what does that mess with, your manlyhood or anything like that? I'm like, oh, I don't want to mess with it. So I'm like, oh, nah, I'll just the pull out game is going to be very, very strong. So
Maybe you'll get more power.
yeah, no, I don't know. I ain't taking
More
the risk.
spiritual power.
Yeah, maybe, but I ain't taking the risk.
Right, not taking the risk. Oh my goodness. Oh man, that made me think of something. I forget all the time, man. I be taking some punches.
I did. Hey, look, I did the snip. I'll be honest. I did the snip.
Yeah,
We good? Yeah.
we good. Yeah.
No, he's weak as. You saw me spar Sean Strickland.
What's that? Sorry.
Did you see me? Did you see the video I posted sparring Sean Strickland? We did a round.
Oh no, I haven't.
You didn't. No, you didn't catch that one. It had like 2.5 million, 2.5
Oh
million
man, I'm
views.
surprised I missed
Thanks
that
to
one. Was that a what?
Sean.
Maybe like
I,
you said, maybe I have seen it, but I forgot. So it's like again, it's that game we play, man. I've always
yeah,
had a bad memory. I always
he didn't let me hit him, man.
he didn't.
No, he didn't let me land really on him. No, I hit his body, but I couldn't. He was not letting me have the head.
He's quite defensive, He's even though he's pressuring, he's always making sure he's safe the whole time. So it's a tricky one.
And he only had 40 pounds on me.
Yeah, exactly. He's bigger as well. Is it? I was going to ask for a favor because I'm actually about to go to. I've got to go to Blue Mountains in a couple of hours. Can I take the phone with me and we keep chatting?
Yeah.
Is that all
Yeah,
right?
bro. If you want to stick on, brother.
Oh, it's up to you. However you
Oh, we don't
want to
give
do
a
it.
shit, bro. We don't give a Come on.
Yeah, come on. Stay on with us. We appreciate you rocking with us so much, champ. We know you're so busy living
Nah,
the
no worries
high
at all,
life.
man. I was just sitting there because I thought it was when I was sitting there, I was like, oh, 6 o'clock. Yeah, that gives me time. And then I was like, oh wait, it's not 6 o'clock. But yeah, bear with me. It might cut out when we're just changing.
All right, Volk. So obviously you're a great wrestler. Most people know you or they think of your background as pure rugby, but you obviously wrestle. You wrestled from like 12 to 14 and won titles, or you were crushing it and you stopped because you just didn't like the uniform. I think that's hilarious.
Yeah. I got over wearing tights. I like to say. Yeah. So I just got over wearing tights, mate. That's what I said. But I was having a laugh about it. But you got me.
Yeah.
Oh,
Over
sorry,
wearing tights.
Yeah.
Oh, for
Yeah.
wrestling.
So,
Okay.
yeah. So I just got over. I always made a joke about that, but I mean, it wasn't really that. It was just I wanted to go play football with the mates. But yeah, so it was it was just something that I wanted to do because wrestling's not that big in Australia. All my mates were playing rugby league, not not really wrestling. I wish I stuck to it though.
Yeah. You wish you would have stuck to it?
Yeah, I do. I was quite good at it, quite handy at it. I feel like I could have done okay, or I could have maybe done one for Australia as well. Because back then, or even now we're not known for our wrestling, but I reckon I could have done okay.
I got one more.
Go for
as
it.
a champion, you work with the top brass. Is there anything you can tell us? Like, how is Hunter Campbell? Obviously, Dana's grooming him, or however you would say it, to be his replacement. What are the differences between Hunter and Dana, in your opinion?
I mean, I couldn't tell you really the difference. We have a pretty good relationship.
Max got some weird questions sometimes,
No,
man.
no, it's not a weird question. It's a good question because you're right. Like obviously he, behind everything, he does a lot of the big chats. You know what I mean? So that's who we chat to, who we negotiate with. But very easy going. He's a very understanding sort of guy. You know what I mean? Like you can have a conversation even when you're going through negotiations or whatever it is. You can at least have an honest conversation about it. You know, he knows. It's obviously business, but at the same time, he will know your worth. But with Dana, I haven't really dealt with Dana on those side of things. Obviously, when I'm chatting to him, we'll have proper chats outside of the fighting, just saying hello and catching up a little bit more like that. But when it comes to negotiations, I haven't really done that with Dana. There's always Hunter.
Interesting. Okay.
You negotiate your prices and things, or your team?
No, I don't know. Well, yeah, maybe not negotiate. I just mean I know how that process goes. He likes to get on a phone call and have a chat with my manager and myself just to tell us what's going on and the situation. I guess he knows that I'll fight anyone anywhere, you know what I mean? So I'm pretty easy to deal with. So
Yeah.
I guess he likes to have that sort of open conversation of where we're at, why he's looking more this way rather than this way. And I'm always like, yeah, man, whatever works, go for it. I'm pretty
Shout
easy
out to
going. So
Campbell, man. It's a good dude right there, changing
yeah,
lives.
yeah, for sure.
What is a dream fight you would like to see between anyone, whether yourself or with two other fighters?
I mean, the Tom and Jon Jones is definitely one I want to see.
All right.
I just think
I knew it was gonna be that. I knew you were gonna say that.
you got me.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Sorry. I think it's
Yeah.
that one. I can hear you guys. Yeah, it's just man. I think the Jon Jones and Tom Aspinall, that fight is just something that I think needs to happen. Especially for Jon. I know he's already proven himself so many times, but if he can go out and take out Tom, who I believe is the best heavyweight in the world, at Jon's age, at a division obviously heavier than him, it doesn't get more legit than Tom Aspinall, and that is in heavyweight division. That is while Jon is at a age, obviously he's a fair bit older. So if he's able to do that, man, I don't think anyone's ever going to be able to top that. That sort of resume ever. You know what I mean? It's quite impressive what he's done. But if he can do this, man, that's really saying something. I want to see how, because obviously he's got a lot of fight IQ. How does he approach this fight? I think Tom's dangerous everywhere. I think he's going to have to, Jon will have to rely on his wrestling, but how successful can he be at heavyweight against a legit, well-rounded fighter like Tom Aspinall?
Yeah, interesting. I saw something today of Tom Aspinall saying the day that he thinks that he might not take a fight is the day he thinks about retiring. And I just thought that was cool. Tom Aspinall said that.
Of course he did, because Jon doesn't want to. Because Jon hadn't taken the fight. Of course he has to say that. All right, so I got a serious. Hang on, I got a serious counterpoint to this, Volk. Everybody said a couple of years ago, Gane is the best heavyweight we've ever seen on the feet. The best boxer. He's huge. Yada yada yada. Right? Mm-hmm. Jon folded him up in 37 seconds. To me, Tom feels like the same. How many times can you keep saying, "Oh, you got to beat the next guy and beat the next guy and beat the next guy"?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I get that. I totally get that. I know what you're saying. With Gane, I thought when it come to striking, that would be he would be the best striker at the time, like a technical striker. And I wanted to see how he would approach that if he couldn't get the takedown. But I mean, he was able to just, again, his fight IQ. I won't take any damage. I grab a hold of you and game over. And that's exactly what he did. So Jon Jones, that's what I mean with his fight IQ. It'll be interesting to see how he approaches Tom. I just think that if he wants to avoid the striking, I can't see him, if he's able to do what he did again to Tom, like grab a hold of him and finish him like that, man, all right, that's crazy. I just don't know if that's going to be that easy of a process. So it'll be interesting to see how much of that fight IQ comes into play, how he can at least slow Tom Aspinall's explosive, attacks, striking, and then even his takedowns and all that in that sort of wrestling sort of scrambles. Be interesting to see how he approaches it.
Hey, Volk, what is it like having Craig Jones as your jiu-jitsu manager?
And what's his beef with the Russians?
Oh man, it just seems like Craig's got beef with everybody. He loves a bit of. I mean, he just has a bit of. I guess he enjoys it, has a bit of fun, has a laugh.
We
Like, every
like
time I'm
Craig
fighting
over here,
someone,
by the
he's,
way.
having shots at him just as a bit of a. It's just. Yeah, exactly. He's man, he's just a funny dude. That's just his sort of brand now. I feel like his brand is like, oh, I'm going to just take the piss out of absolutely everything. You know what I mean? Like, so if there's anybody standing in front, whether it's with one of his mates or whatever it is, if someone's standing across from his mate, all right, he's going to have shots at him. He's going to, play into the whole hype thing and just have a good laugh. Now you can see him obviously chatting with Tom and having a bit of fun with the Jon Jones thing. Again, there's never any actual malice behind it. It's just something he just likes to play with.
What's your personal opinion on Gordon?
Say that again, sorry?
I said, what's your personal opinion on Gordon?
On Gordon Ryan?
Yeah.
Yeah, sorry, mate. So just cutting out a little bit. Look, man,
Yes.
I haven't really ever met him, so I don't know. But like, you hear some stories, like Craig and that. I know they've got their beef. I know they say, like you got to hear both sides of the story. But there's some crazy stories there. But I mean, like I don't know him enough to actually have a real opinion. But I know he's an incredible jiu-jitsu fighter, that's for sure. Though, like he knows how to grapple, and he would be the best probably you could say ever was when it comes to no-gi grappling. But as a person, I don't know him. Am I getting his back?
Well, Volk, I was gonna say, looks like the connection is slipping a bit. Maybe we could run this back another time. We can catch up with you when you're not. I'm sure you're always gonna be busy, but I want to thank you for your time today. And I think we're losing you a bit on the connection. So thank you so much for coming on the show and talking with us. It's been an absolute honor and pleasure. And congratulations, champ, on all the success. Hope to see you around again soon.
All right, thanks for that. Yeah, sorry about that. It was just while we were driving out of my farm. You sometimes lose a little bit of connection. But hopefully, definitely catch up again. Appreciate you having me on. If the connection gets better and you still want to chat, I'm all good. I've got a 2.5 hour drive right now, so
Bro,
I don't mind.
Stay on. Mike may need to go. We need to stay on. You kidding me? But hey, Volk's like, I'm bored and I just want to hang out with the guys. Then he can hang out with the guys.
Who you driving with? You got a driver right now?
You got a driver?
Nah, well, it's because it's through my sponsor, through Sportsbet. We're actually going up. We've got the State of Origin this week, so I'm doing a bit of filming with the Blues. They're called the Blues, New South Wales Origin team. So I'm going to shoot a bit of content with them, have a bit of a laugh.
Nice. We had Bam Bam on a little while ago. Are you guys in the same part of Australia? Do you guys train together sometimes or hang out?
Yeah, we definitely hang out. We've got a good relationship. Obviously, he's a top dude. He's a legend. But yeah, so not too far, just like an hour and a half away from each other. So we can always catch up if need be. But yeah, I don't know. I like to train with heavier guys, but there's probably a limit. Like I have trained with plenty of heavyweights, though, to be honest. But he's a big dude.
Hey, Volk, you're always great at doing these character, skits.
Yeah.
Maybe you play Mike Perry's therapist in the next one.
Okay, yeah. I mean, that'd actually be pretty That'd be a good one. I like that.
I
I like
love
that
that.
idea.
I
Yeah,
love
it'd be
that,
good.
man. I was
Yeah.
gonna say I really enjoyed your old man skit because I feel like that sometimes that I want to do that, but I always tell myself, I'm still too young or young enough that I don't want to act like that old man, because unless that old man was Yoel Romero, unless I was that type of old man, I don't want to wish those things upon myself that I'll end up being in the ring as this old man and get hurt.
Yeah, well, it's funny. It's funny you say that. Like, obviously, because I like it. I enjoy doing the skits. I enjoy, taking the piss out of myself, and that's just sort of how it is. Like, and I'll do that sort of stuff and forget all about it while I'm fighting. But I remember chatting to some people. Like, I think this guy it was afterwards. Had to do with because I ended up with that fight. That was the Topuria one. Obviously, got knocked out. So then you had to go do concussion sort of stuff. And so the guy that was doing the concussion sort of testing, I think he's a bit of a psych as well, maybe as well. I'm not sure. But he was like even asking about, do you feel you doing the old man bulk thing? Like, do you feel like that played a part in you feeling old in there? Like, I think he was worried about it making me feel or telling myself I'm old, like, you know what I mean? If that makes sense, like what you're
Yeah.
trying to say. So
Yeah.
that's what, but I'm like, nah, man, like I take the piss out of myself, you know what I mean? I'll do it again. Like I'm comfortable doing that again, you know what I mean? Even though that didn't end well, but that's a character like that. You know what I mean? I know how to separate the two, I go in the fight with a game plan and, and that's just how I am. So I'm for me, like I don't feel like I played him, but I understand. Obviously, it's a thing, right? Like subconsciously, you're telling yourself you're old. You know what I mean? Like, but I don't think that was the case with me.
That's what I love about Australians, though, is they're willing to make fun of themselves like
Yeah,
pretty easily. Most of them that I know, and like Americans just aren't. I am. I like to make fun of myself, but like Americans don't find it as funny. The British don't find it as funny. Australians just find it funny.
yeah, man. It was so even when I remember when I did because Aussie humour is maybe a little bit different, but I remember doing my concreting video. I don't know if you've seen that, my concreting skit that I did. So it was just me sort of having a laugh at myself. Maybe go back and see it. It's actually quite funny. It was me because I used to be a concreter, but it was like me with because my brother and my dad and they're concreters and they're working. So I went in there just help them for a bit of content, for a bit of a laugh. So the idea was I was going to be the concreter, the guy that's on the job site. And, in a text it said, the guy that doesn't stop talking, you know what I mean? Like, so that's a guy that's always just, got fake stories, you know what I mean? So I played that guy, but going, I used to be a UFC world champion. And you know what I mean? Everyone's going, yeah, sure you did, mate. And like, just having a laugh like that is actually quite good because it's me telling my actual stories, but pretending that I'm talking where everyone's not believing me. And like, it was actually quite funny. And I didn't think everyone, the world would sort of get it. I thought it was maybe a bit more of a Aussie humor type thing, but it actually took off even in America. Everyone got like what we're trying to do. They loved that I was taking the piss out of myself, and so it was quite good. You got to see
I
that
mean,
one. You will enjoy it.
I think I have seen that. I think I have. I like how you can roll with the shots like that. I mean, I want to ask, do you read comments and because some comments still get to me sometimes, and then sometimes I read them and I'm like, this little guy who has 50 followers and follows 689 people actually said something kind of I understand what he's saying, but I need to just get off these comments and go train or something because I got to clear my mind. Like, do you still
Yeah.
get mad at any comments, or how do you redirect that and make it something positive?
Yeah, man, it's definitely something that's always going to sort of be there. I used to be a lot worse, where I would look at comments and then because I've always been, and I still sort of am, like a people pleaser, if that makes sense. You know, I've always been I care what people think. I've always cared what people think. So I used to really care what people on social media thought. And you're going to get haters no matter what. Like, I've never tried to offend anyone. Like, I'm not ever really trying to do that. And to have people hating me, I didn't get it, back in the day. So it was quite hard. Where now, I understand, like, someone that's hating me for no reason, that's not a me problem. That's that person's, obviously going through things and has to go on social media and hate for no reason, just to make themselves feel better. So that's more of a them problem. And if anything, I feel more sorry for them than worrying about that for myself. It might get a little bit under my skin, but I will look at comments more for, and if we're doing a video, so I'm here with my content guy, Jake. So I would more for to be productive with it. I want to know, with a video that we did, maybe, what do they want more of, just so that I can get an understanding of, look, they didn't like the certain thing. You're going to see people that I hate. I don't really care. But I mean, if they got something that they're saying that makes a bit of sense, maybe we can work on it for the next video. So I try and look at comments that way, and then I can be more productive with them. Not actually, like, if someone wants to insult me, I was like, oh, yeah, whatever. You know what I mean? Like, I know I haven't done nothing to offend you. If you hate me, that's, you probably hate yourself as well. Like, you know what I mean? That's sort of how I look at it.
Oh, that's a good way to. I'm gonna keep that one with me. I'm gonna be like, oh, you hate me, you hate yourself.
Yeah.
Oh,
you still got me?
oh man. Yeah, we got you.
Mike just stopped for a second. He glitched.
No, I just said, I said I'm gonna keep that one with me. If you hate me, you hate yourself. I like that.
Yeah, well, that's it. Like, I just think, again, it's not, if someone's hating on me, for no reason, that's not really a me problem, I mean, we all have our problems, but I mean, if that person really wants to go on social media and spend all their time doing that, that's more of a them problem. So we shouldn't buy into that.
That's great advice, man. I appreciate talking with you, champ.
Alex, who do you want to fight next? I think we're looking at Yair next. If we are looking at Yair, where's the dangers? And if we're not looking at Yair, who do you want to fight next?
So you might lose me for a little bit here because I'm going up a mountain again. But look, nothing's locked in. Again, I'm easy. I talk to the UFC. They chat to me, and I literally, like, whoever, sort of tell them a date that, like, works for me. Obviously, I've got a Bubs on the way, so we had to look into working around that if we could. But yeah, so it's obviously with Yair, we know he's that unpredictable sort of style. You know what I mean? He's striking. He's quite dangerous because of that unpredictable sort of, like, he'll throw anything from anywhere. Like, sometimes I feel like, I think he does know, but I mean, it's like he doesn't know. Like, I go one way and then he just has automatic reactions, off the cuff sort of counters, and which you need to be really, really careful of. When people are sort of more systematic with everything, like, you know what I mean? Like, they can be more predictable, even though they're very well trained. Because they're so well trained, they're sometimes that little bit more predictable. Can you guys hear me?
Yes, we can. Keep going.
I was fucking with him. Can you see us?
Can I see you guys?
Yeah.
Can you see us?
Yeah, sort of. Yeah, it's just sort of glitching a little bit. It's sort of freezing here and there. But I mean, okay, sweet. Oh, okay, yeah. So, but with Movsvar, again, like, obviously, he's going to be, want to scramble and all that sort of stuff. But that's my world. You know what I mean? So you just know that, he's pretty fit, and it's going to be more of a grinding fight. But I think, as I said, man, I still feel like I've got that fight left in me, and I can take out any of these guys. So until I can't, then I'll look at hanging up the gloves.
I think we all know that. Like, how old are you, Volt?
Hey?
How old are you?
I'm 36, turning 37 in September.
Yeah, you're 36, bro. You're still in your prime for like a heavyweight for sure. You did hang on. Didn't he just win a record though? Hang on. Didn't he just win a record?
Who's that?
You.
Yeah, so I was from under welterweight,
Yeah.
no one's won a title
Right.
over the age of 35.
Yeah. Sick.
So it was like 17. Now it was 0-17, but now it's 17-1, and I'm that one.
Yeah. 0-17 in the UFC to 17-1 is a sick fucking record.
Yeah, so I'm pretty good with that. And not just that, like obviously no one's won a title coming off two consecutive knockout losses as well.
Yep.
Which is, again, the odds were definitely stacked against you. Had a big break as well on top of that. So I feel like, it's not me winning the title. I don't really care about that. But for me, overcoming, all those adversities and being in that position and then still being able to show the world that anything's possible, mate, like that means so much more to me.
I love it.
Who were the guys that got you going in MMA back in Pride days or early UFC? Who did you watch? Who were the top 5 you watched that really, like, you tried to implement their styles, you learned, you watched on YouTube, you went to the gym and worked with your coaches? Who were those guys?
Oh, man, so there was some before I even started. I started training when I was 22 years old, so I started reasonably late. So before then, I was always a massive fan of Chuck Liddell, massive fan of George St. Pierre, Anderson Silva, all them guys. But I mean, through my career, your Demetrius Johnsons and stuff like that, where I took a lot of, I like to really understand their sort of game. Because then George St. Pierre, obviously, I feel like their fight IQ was always very impressive. Look, I'm going to be honest with you guys. We're probably going to lose reception quite a bit for a decent time soon. If you just wanted to wrap it up before that happens.
I was supposed to go to Australia. They got Big Ben Rothwell running the main event in Perth, Australia for BKFC. And we got Jairzinho Rosenstrike running the main event in Dirty Boxing this weekend. So make sure y'all tune in to that because it's free on YouTube. It's going to be an incredible show commentated in 3 languages. English with Platinum Mike Perry, Spanish with Yoel Romero, and Portuguese with Money Moicano. So make sure y'all tune in no matter what language you speak. Unless you speak Russian, we ain't got that one yet. We got Overdogs Russia coming to you soon. We're going to have...
Hang on. I do have a question, though. How come they want you to commentate, but they don't want you to fight?
Well, now that I said something, we'll see if I end up commentating. But when I go commentate, I'm supposed to be making an announcement for a fight. And
bro, this has been like 2 years?
Some of this might have to get... No, man, it hasn't been 2 years. April 20-something was when I fought...
2016.
No.
It was when you beat Thiago Alves.
No, that was 2024. That was April 2024, last year. And I fought in July, so it hasn't been a year since I fought, but it's been a year since I fought bare knuckle. So in July, we should be announcing a Platinum Mike Perry bare knuckle fight. I'm ready for that announcement. I can't wait for that. And just want to thank my team and my friends and my fans who support me, and the ones who talk can lick a boot. That's what you can do. Lick a dirty boot.
I have 42 alt accounts on IG that I talk shit in comments.
Oh, thanks, man.
It's actually just all me. There's actually no haters. It's just me.
Well, who are the 50 people that follow your accounts? The other 49 pages?
Yeah. All right. Love you, Mike. Appreciate you. Sign us off, baby. Sign us off, baby.
Thanks so much for watching Overdogs Podcast with the champ, Alex Volkanovski. It was an honor and a privilege to talk with him today. I'm going to go make a smash burger and smash my wife. So, God bless, salute, and don't think too hard on them conspiracy theories. Like and subscribe to Overdogs Podcast, and we'll catch you next time.